we are here to actually provide all the support to develop students to become a confident graduate that is needed by the industry. Please feel welcome to visit us to see how we do our transformation of students.
Morning, Gideon. You are live now. You please unmute your mic.
All right. Okay. So, good morning, everyone. I am Gideon Joseph, your MC for today. Alongside me, we have our lecturer and program leader, Miss Asnina Anandin, who is going to be our moderator for today. Okay. For those who are attending this webinar, I'd like to thank all of you all for showing interest and giving us your time of day. Trust me when I say you are not going to regret this decision at all. Without further ado, for the webinar today, we have three wonderful speakers who took their time off their busy schedules to share their experiences in entrepreneurship and the resilience to thrive your, their business during this pandemic. Okay, he began his journey into the education field by the by chance a decade ago. He is a certified John Maxwell trainer and specializes in entrepreneurship and early childhood. He is well renowned for his coaching, training, and development programs throughout Southeast Asia, especially Indonesia, Thailand, and our motherland, Malaysia, where he frequently holds these trainings. He holds a bachelor's degree in sociology and anthropology from USM, University Science of Malaysia. Let me call upon the founder and executive director of White House Education Group, Mr. Jerry Yeo. Okay, so for our second speaker, he is from the new and happening gym in Penang. He traveled around the world from UK, China, and Australia to gain knowledge in form of education. He started up his business in under 3 months. Wow. The sole owner and currently the manager of Power Gym, the man who pays attention to the details and is very hands-on when it comes to running a business, Mr. Teo Boon Kiat. Okay. So, lastly, the representative of GPS, short for Green Plant Society. Okay, GPS is a plant nursery that is based in Penang. They have well over 100 species of plants in their nursery. The best part of GPS is that their vision is to reconnect individuals with nature. All right. Our third speaker is the representative of GPS, currently doing her senior year in American degree program. Majoring in psychology, she has conducted terrarium, succulents, and cocodema workshops and is an expert in the field of landscaping, representing the company that's all about loving the environment and caring for its future. Sagi's pride and joy, Miss Ariana O. All right. Thank you. Let's bring the speakers up.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thanks, Gideon.
Good
Thank you,
morning.
Gideon, good morning. Thank you for the wonderful introduction of all our speakers. And firstly, I'd like to thank all our speakers for joining us on this wonderful Tuesday morning to share with us about how did they navigate through and bring a resilience to their business during COVID-19 pandemic. So I'd like to first then just begin by asking each of you. Maybe I'd like to start with BK, who is with PWR Gym. Maybe would you like to share with us the nature of your business and maybe tell us what is your business about?
Okay, hi, thank you everyone for coming. My name is BK and I'm the owner and manager of PWR Strength and Conditioning. So PWR Strength and Conditioning is a strength and conditioning gym, and our mission is to educate people on fitness and to empower people and their lives through fitness. That's our main mission.
Okay, so PWR Gym. So you mentioned it is about strengthening and conditioning. So what is it different compared to the existing gyms that are there in Malaysia? Could you share with us?
The usual perception of a gym is sort of like a commercial gym where you go inside, there's a bunch of machines, you go to classes, and you meet a bunch of people, but there's no real intent behind why you're going to the gym. So our goal is that we help you set a direction in your fitness goals, so that when you do come in, you know what you're doing, you do things correctly, and then you do reach your fitness goals.
Right, great. Thanks, BK. So I think I'll just move on to Ariana. Then, Ariana, would you like to share with us the nature of your business? What is Green Plant Society about?
Okay, hi, good morning, everybody. So I just want to share a bit on Green Plant Society. So the first thing that you have to know is that we were established in 2017 and we are based here in Penang, Malaysia. So as mentioned by Gideon just now, we actually specialize in landscaping and also plants like succulents, cactus, and indoor-outdoor plants. And we also do cater like workshops for everybody to join once in a while. And we also have 2 online platforms, which is like in Lazada and Shopee. And yeah, that's where we run our online business. So we are a physical walk-in store in Penang. And we also cater to people in Malaysia and Singapore via these online platforms. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Ariana, for introduction on your business. And I'd like to go on to Mr. Jerry. Good morning, Mr. Jerry. So could you share with us about your business, the nature of your business, White House Education?
Good morning. We're actually a kindergarten based in Penang, so we run nursery and kindergarten programs. Our youngest will be from 2 years old, and the oldest will be 6 years old. We have been in this industry for more than a decade. So basically, that's our bread and butter for the last 10 to 12 years.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jerry. So I think we'll move on directly into the purpose of our forum today, which is on understanding resilience and entrepreneurship during COVID. So maybe I'd like to go on to, Mr. Jerry first. Maybe you could share with us, how was your business operation pre-COVID-19, and what was the struggles you faced during COVID and during MCO, even the first MCO up to now? Like, what could you share with us? How was it before and then after COVID has struck?
Pre-COVID-19, everything was very normal. You're running kindergartens, having children running around. The most beautiful thing about running a school is that you get to see children every single day. So they will come to school. They will laugh, they will cry, they will pull each other's hair, they will tell you all sorts of stories. Basically children are our CNN, so they will say, oh, my mama did this, my papa did that, and then these things happens every day, and it was fun to watch them grow. That was the reason why we're in this business anyway, and we wanted to do it right and well. And then COVID came. But before COVID, we do have issues in schools, basically like hand, foot, mouth diseases and things like that, which actually warrant us to close the school for a week or two, so that to clean up the place. And this is quite normal actually in the industry. So basically, there are cases happening now and then. Then came COVID. So COVID was something that nobody expected, and when COVID started, when the Prime Minister announced that there's going to be an MCO 1.0 during that time, immediately we actually turned on our global classroom, where we actually set up online classes on first day of MCO. And of course, there were challenges because children are not ready. Parents are don't know what Zoom is, and we also were not aware of how Zoom works. Basically, we are just trying to figure out how Zoom works and how to interact with children. And one of the strategy that we used was that we do not want to, because these are children, these are 0 to 6 years old. So the most important thing of any children is interaction, is communication, is real communication. Children need real life, communication. I think a psych student will tell you, you can't, they need interaction basically to move on in their life. So the idea was to set up something which is interactive rather than pre-recorded videos. Then you can play whenever you want, and you learn from there. So in older students it might work, but for the younger ones, no. So that was a challenge for us. How do we actually make it interactive? And the second challenge was to make it a real school setting, because what we were worried that if you're going to do it too short, when the children come back to school, they're going to get used to it, and we try to stimulate a real environment. So they actually start school at 8:45, 9 o'clock every morning, or 9:30. So it's very standard time. And then,
Wow.
even when they go to toilet, they have to ask teachers permission. Can I go to the toilet? And they're not even allowed to eat in the classroom. So basically, there will be some parents say, "Oh, you're hungry, I'm going to feed you, while you're studying." Oh, we're telling, no feeding. There's a time for you to eat, and this is class. So
Yes.
these are things that was a challenge for us. And also, one of the biggest challenge was parents were in class. So we have extra students in the classroom.
Extra
usually we have young ones, and then now we have, so instead of a class has 10 students, now we have 30, because the papa and mama, and sometimes grandfather is there, so you have more students in the class. So we have more people to take care of. So that was the challenge. All right. So.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Jerry. And Ariana, so could you share with us, how was the business operation prior to COVID, and then after COVID happened? How was it? Could you share with us? Thank you.
Okay, sure. So before COVID, I believe that we only had one branch in Ayah Itam. So that was quite a small branch, and we basically catered to those on Shopee alone, and also for walk-in. So business was going actually quite good already. But I would say that after COVID, things got even better for us. So we expanded into like Lazada, and we have a lot of orders in Shopee. Like just I think on Sunday we had 1.2k orders, and the team had to really rush to get things done.
Wow.
Because so many people have become like plant fans as a result of like being in lockdown, and then you feel really like stuck at home and there's no nature at all. So I would say after COVID, many people have like gained an interest in gardening. So we have orders pouring in online, and we have many people messaging us every day, asking us like, can we drop by your main walk-in store in Ayah Itam? And besides that, also we even had to expand like 2 more branches in Jelutong just to solely cater to online customers. So I would say business is going quite good, like after COVID.
Wow, that's really good to know. And yes, even from the first COVID, right, there was a lot of interest towards plants and doing home caring for plants and so on and so forth, right? So it's good. It's good that it's picked up for you during the COVID. And thanks, Ariana. So BK, how about your business? How was yours pre-COVID? And then were there any struggles during, and even now at with the sudden MCO 2.0, and then at this point, how is it? Could you share with us?
Yeah, sure. Our business is a bit unique because we started during the pandemic. So we started last year in December, so that we were still in the midst of a pandemic, but we decided, this is a risk that is worthwhile to take. And so we opened this gym. So I think one of the main challenges we faced is that there has been a lot of inconsistency in the government's policy in terms of lockdown, so that we could not really have a solid plan for the future. Because once we have a long-term plan laid out, the government will implement a new rule, and then we had to adapt very fast. So all of our policies and our vision has been very flexible, so that we give ourselves room to move around all these policies. Other challenges we faced were with the global supply chain disturbed. We really found it really hard to source equipments. So a lot of our equipments are actually manufactured and designed by ourselves. So this is like a way we solve this issue. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's interesting. So meaning to say you manufacture those instruments in your gym?
Yeah, so a lot of the equipments we actually did make in-house. And so the benefit is that we really got to have quality control, and we make sure it's built to the specification, to our liking, and specific to our gym.
Ah, nice. So maybe could you share further on the ways that you've adapted in maneuvering around this COVID situation, especially with these new SOPs being implemented? They change the SOPs, right, at different times. So how was it with your gym? I mean, how did you maneuver your business along that?
Yeah, so with the second lockdown coming in, we were the only gym in Penang, and I believe in Malaysia, that rented out equipment. So that was a way for us to generate revenue, even though gyms were not allowed to open. So we did that knowing people really wanted to work out even during a pandemic, but they couldn't come to the gym, so we will bring the gym to them. So it was a great marketing strategy for us because we take pride in the quality of our equipment. So why not let them take it back and share with their friends too? So I think that has been a win-win situation for everyone.
Right. So how does this thing work? This, where they can borrow the instrument. How does it work? Could you share with us?
Yeah. So essentially, we created a little menu where you could order your equipment, and then once you booked it, you come in, you pick it up, you pay a deposit, and you're good to go. Yeah. And we just got them to post a little story and let it spread like wildfire. And then within, I think, 2 or 3 days, all our equipments were gone.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so actually, I was actually thinking about it, like, what if somebody borrows the thing and just not return your equipment? So it's good that you do have this deposit policy, which does, make sure that it gets returned, right?
Yeah, and Penang is a very small space, so everyone knows each other.
Right.
So if they do run away, we'll find them.
Okay, all right. Thanks, VK. Right. So, Mr. Jerry, how about you? How did you adapt around this whole COVID situation, especially with these new SOPs? With the children as and was it tough? I mean, were the numbers different when MCO happened, and how did you adapt in this whole situation? Could you share with us, Mr. Jerry?
During the during the pandemic, right? What happened was everybody was at home. So all the children was, stationed at home. And the biggest issue that we really had, the biggest challenge was actually to get parents on board because they are all working as well. At the time, I think they're not qualified educators. Basically, they do not know how to go through the proper, teaching methodology in like what we do in school. So the biggest, the thing that we did strategize was actually to bring parents on board. So one of the stories that I can share with you is that some of them have to work, some of the parents have to work, and they have grandparents at home. So grandparents are not tech savvy at all. Totally no. I mean, some are, but most no. So what we did was we have actually staff on standby to teach them step by step via the phone how to actually switch on Zoom. So these are small strategies that we actually do to ensure that everybody got into Zoom or got into online learning. And the second strategy you had was we were lucky to have friends, a lot of friends all over, and we did successfully carried out programs online. Like for example, we have a partnership with the Taiwanese Science Museum, and storytellers from all over the world. We actually bring them in on a regular basis, so they actually bring flavor back to the school, whereby it's not so boring. So we have a lot of activities going on. That was one of our strategies. So we have a lot of storytelling. We have science experiments almost every day for the first month, so that children can be involved in hands-on activities. And that was a strategy also to get parents excited. So that that they said, look, this is so cool. Then we will actually study with our child. That is very important. And one of the interesting stories that we share, strategy was actually we found that children were not having a lot of together time. And what we did was interesting, but it was successful. We actually had a lunch together. So we get everybody to come into Zoom and everybody had lunch together. So at let's say at 12 p.m., everybody bring out their own lunch box, so some of them will have packed food, some of them will have home cooked food, and they had lunch and they chit chat. So, and the strategy works. At the end of the day, during MCO2, parents have been giving us feedback that their children are able to actually run Zoom themselves. And according to our teachers' feedback, that some of them can even type messages on Zoom. Hi, good morning. Yeah, so these are things that is interesting. So this is our strategy. Our strategy was to get parents involved because we are not there for the children. So if the parents are not able to carry out what we do in school, then there's no point to run an online classes because they are too young to do it on their own. So the strategy was to get parents involved. We need to excite the parents, not only involve them, but to get them excited, that, wow, this is so cool, man. These are things that we can do. And so we even send things to homes for, packs, boxes of things, so that parents don't have to actually buy them. So they have paints, they have their own brushes. We even give them pencils and
Wow.
color pencils and everything. So we pack in boxes. So parents come and collect on a periodical time, so that when you open the boxes, everything is there for them. So we like what BK has been doing. He brings gym equipment to their room. We actually bring the whole classroom to them. So we actually brought all the children equipment, the books, the papers. We even give them mahjong paper. We are worried that they don't have mahjong paper. So we actually give them mahjong papers, color papers. And some of the parents were very, very supportive. Another good example is that we did baking class, actually. Yeah, and you'll be surprised. Parents really take an effort to actually bake with the child. Really, really took an effort. They actually,
Wow.
wow, So the strategy was very simple. Excite the parents, because we need the parents' help. That was it.
That's great. That's great. So, I mean, even the concept of having giving these toolbox for the children as well as the parents, it's very helpful, because a lot of parents, they don't really have the time to go out there and kind of find those activity tools, all those beads and so on and so
This
forth.
is some
So
of the. I have one here. So this is
okay.
This is one of it. Yeah. So
Right.
this is
That's
so
nice.
I can go through with you. These are the straws.
Oh,
We even
wow.
give them
Okay.
cotton buds, even vinegar. Yeah. So
Nice.
so even flour.
Okay. Okay, I'm excited. I'm a parent too, so I'm excited by the fact that your school is doing this for both
It's
parents
a lot
and
of work.
children. I
It's a lot
believe
of work.
so. I believe so. And so, Mr. Jerry, so how did you come along with this? I mean, how did you come up with these ideas, these quick ideas that to survive through this tough time?
I think it was not an idea. It was more of we have a responsibility to. I have a responsibility to both parties. I have a lot of stuff that is working for me, so they cannot have no salary. Basically, we have to maintain the business, and then a lot of people depend on their salary to survive. Number one. Number two, also we have actually created a trust between us, between the teachers, us, and also the children. So, and all you all know, the first 6 years of a child is the most important 6 years. The brain development, 90% of our brain will be developed by age 4 or 5. And this is something that has been entrusted to us. So it was not a magical thinking. We did not have strategies to strategize it, but it was more of a desperation, basically. So we have to do something. Basically, we did not have the luxury of sitting on a meeting table, trying to figure out what to do. We did not have that. It was not like, we made a 3-month plan, a 6-month plan, a short-term plan proposed to us and things like that. No, it was more of like, okay, this is it. Let's start, and then let's solve the problem along the way. So it was not honestly, there was no strategy. It was more of the trust that was given to us, that we have a responsibility to our staff, our teachers, and also we have a big responsibility to the children that is always with us. So we really don't have a choice. We have to sort it out. But like what I say, we did. There were some mistakes that we did, like along the way there were mistakes, but the team was good enough to rectify it. And parents, like what I say, parents was very supportive. So, and we even have parents texting us photos. If you see our Facebook, you'll see that how can you get all these photos of children at home? It's all thanks to parents. They are so excited that they will actually send photos to us and say, look, this is what he has done today, this is what he has done today, and then we put it up. So it was a chain reaction. So when we put it up on Facebook or on our internal mailing system, other parents got excited and said, wow, okay, their child is doing this. I think me too, and then everybody start jumping into the bandwagon. So strategy, sad to say, there's no strategy to combat COVID-19. There's no strategy to be part of MCO because we haven't done that in my entire life. There was no MCO. I'm 40 years old, so there's no MCO for the last 40 years. So it was not predicted anyway. But yeah, so the strategy was just to keep moving and to always remember that it's for the betterment of the children. Like what I always tell my staff, which is very important. You can never get it right in early years education. Never, because early years education is always evolving. But you must not ever get it wrong, because once you get it wrong, oh my God, you'll be in trouble. So it's never going to be perfect, trust me. But we cannot get it wrong. We can never do that. We have to try to get it right. So that's our philosophy, and most probably that's the strategy.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Jerry. It's really wonderful hearing that. Even though I think what pushed you and your company organization to actually move towards handling the whole situation is actually your drive. I would say that your drive towards wanting, and your goal is to want to provide a good education and for the children, as well as a good experience for the parents and the children. So I think that really was something that pushed, gave the sort of we would say in Malay, ilham, right? The idea towards doing whatever that you did. So that's really great. That's wonderful to know. And thank you, Mr. Jerry. So Ariana, I think moving on to you, how about GPS? How about Green Plant Society? With the whole new SOPs and all this, how was it for your company? I mean, how was it for the business?
Actually, because of COVID, we had certain struggles. Like the first one was definitely in terms of manpower, because there were only like maybe a team of 10 of us, and we had to already cater to the walk-in customers as well as the online orders that were pouring in every day, like increasing 300 orders per day. So yeah, that was one, manpower. But then we've hired people and we've trained them as well on how to deal with packaging and so on, so that area is like well taken care of. And then the second thing would be for our stocks, actually, because like some of the plants, maybe we import from overseas, or maybe we source locally from like Cameron Highlands or so on. And then the problem with COVID was that when these stocks were coming into our place, they got stuck in between the customs for a really long time, which caused like a delay not only in the customers' orders, but a delay in us receiving like new stocks. So that was another challenge. And then definitely the third was like having to implement the SOPs. Like we had to follow the government's orders. Like now we need to have 5 people only for walk-in at one time. And we have to make sure they scan QR codes and not like dodge. And also make sure that they have to go through like temperature screening. So then it's like safe for everybody, the customers as well as us. But so far, I think we've been dealing with the struggles pretty well.
Okay, thanks, Ariana. And maybe if you could share with us, how was the business in terms of profit like before and even currently with the COVID situation?
Okay, so actually before COVID, I believe that we were doing quite well, because like Penang, there are many plant lovers here. And like after COVID, I feel like it really boosted our profits. Like right now, if I'm not wrong, it has doubled or tripled like exponentially, because like I said earlier, many people have been into gardening and so on during like the MCO, and we've also had business pouring in from big companies like Intel. We've done like online workshops with them, and besides that, yeah, Shopee orders and Lazada orders have been booming like a lot recently. Every day, like our staff have to pack a lot of orders. As you can see, like I think even in Penang also, if you were to look around like your neighbor's house or even your own house also, there's a lot of packages pouring in every day. So I would say online platforms have really contributed a lot to our profit margins. And yeah, we've branched out into like even Singapore as well during this pandemic. So that's really good for us.
Yeah, but it's a really wonderful idea to move on to the online platforms, I guess, to expand in a way that you would be able to get more marketing out as well, right? Thank you, Ariana. So BK, maybe share with us, how about you? How was the profit like prior and currently? How is it like? If you could share with us.
Yeah, we had nothing to compare to prior to MCO, but during MCO, much like the Green Plant Society, we actually are growing very fast, and we're turning profits now. And I think a big part of it is due to what I mentioned before: renting out the equipment, finding creative solutions to the existing problem. And I also believe that, at a time like this, health is ever more. People are thinking about it even more, but they don't want to go to a typical commercial gym where it's cramped, it's sweaty, it's smelly. People don't want that. They're conscious of that. So I think our gym we're different in that we're private, and that we are, I guess, cleaner. We take better care of our gym. So I think people are willing to pay a premium for that. And because of that, despite MCO and the lockdowns, our membership is still growing.
Okay, so there were any differences in terms of the membership, maybe during the COVID or anything of that such, or it's just the same, or how is it like?
Oh no, we actually had people buying memberships even during a lockdown. I think they really saw our vision and our missions, and they really wanted to buy into that and be part of this mission. Yeah, so we've been growing month every month, 40%. So I think that's pretty good for a gym amid a pandemic. So we're quite proud of that.
Wonderful, that's really good, and I congratulate you for that. And okay, so moving on, Mr. Jerry, was there any difference in terms of, were there any government reform, support that was given in any way, or did you utilize any of the support that was given by the government during this pandemic for your business? If you could share with us, thank you.
Okay, I think the biggest program in Malaysia was the Prihatin, where, if your staff is earning less than 4,000 ringgit, you get a subsidy. That was something that we actually, took it. We actually applied for it because it was quite a good deal, basically. And of course, for the kindergarten industry, I think the federal government under the Ministry of Education does give a 5,000 ringgit grant, a one-off grant, and the Penang State government gave a 500 ringgit one-off grant. So for kindergarten, so we took all except for the Penang State government grant, basically, and of course, for us, we are always thankful to get grants and things like that. But I think the industry needs more than just grants to survive during the pandemic. I think even 5,500 ringgit or whatever, I don't think it's enough for a struggling company. So we are very lucky that we are able to survive. Come back to the point of profit. We still make a profit during pandemic, but it was a major drop in our income because we gave discounts, things like that. So of course there were help from the government, both federal and state, but I guess it was a short stopgap measure that was initiated by the government. But but as an industrial player, I think we need more than that during that time. We need more support, because if the revenue keeps coming in, then technically we do not need any support. Basically, we are able to survive on our own. So that would be my point. Basically, the most important thing is actually to get the business to survive, not by giving short-term grants, because short-term grants, at some time it helps, but in the long run it doesn't. So that's my point on this.
So you were mentioning profit has been different, right? In terms of during the COVID
Right.
compared to pre-COVID. So yeah,
Right.
could you share with us how was that like?
Okay, you see, you must understand how our education industry works because, you know, as different as Adriana, I think BK might be roughly similar to us, but our business model is based on the monthly income basically, and I think I will defer to with BK even in that sense because his limitation is it's different than my limitation. So when it comes to earliest, right, the limitation is very limited. Basically, if I can have 15 to a class, and that is 15 to a class, I cannot have more. You know, I cannot have in a good month I have 30 in a class. It doesn't work that way. So it's always a very stable income thing. So so basically during the pandemic, if you're going to give discount, it doesn't mean that we're going to have more business. Or even though we have more business, we cannot even take it in because there's a limitation to classroom size. So basically, we are not making a lot is because of we are giving discounts. So a good example is that if you're making $1 of a profit during pre-MCO, maybe we are just making 25 cents to 30 cents. So it was 50 to 60% drop in profit, in margins basically. So that was what happened during the pandemic, and it was a struggle for a lot of kindergartens as far as I know because we did a webinar for about 500 people, I think, with the council, the ECC Council of Malaysia, which I was the key speaker, I was the keynote, and I can feel them. They are really struggling during the first pandemic. Even the 5,000 ringgit doesn't help. Even the it really, I mean, it helps to a certain extent, but it doesn't.
Yeah, because the nature of the business also involves, I mean, of course, you have to pay your staffs, you have to, you know, pay for the rent of your building and all those things as well, right? Correct. So I believe it must have had some sort of impact, right?
Yes, because the nature of the business is very interesting. So during a good year, it's good for us because there is no, you see, a kindergarten industry is a very flat industry. So basically, I'm not like Adriana where I can have 1,200 spike in a day, and then after that, the next day I have a 0, and then the next day I have a 2,000 spike again. In our industry, there's no spike. It's like, okay, your school is full. End of story. You know, that's it. Either you're going to open more or that's it. It's a very flat business model. So technically, our business model is you can actually calculate your maximum profit because there is a maximum profit. You know, it's like, okay, now we can only have 80 children. So if we hit 80, that's it. You know, basically that's it. But of course, we have our good times. The good times means we don't have to worry about the ups and downs. Like, you know, like I'm sure like BK or Adriana, you know, if you're, you know, like you shared so good business, I think by tomorrow there'll be someone doing the same business as you know, and then you know, then there'll be a lot of competitors, and you know, that's where the you know, the profit game will come in. You know, the discount rates will come in. You know, why Green Plant is 3 ringgit, I get it for 2 ringgit and 50 cents. You know, and you know, that kind of things will come in. But when it comes to earliest industry, that's where our advantage is, because once the child is doing well in your school, there is highly unlikely that they will leave. So you have a very consistent income. So it's a different game basically.
All right, I see. Yes, that's true. That's very true. And you were saying about the government support, right? So what would you hope for the support from government? What would you hope for it to be like for businesses like yours, which is in the education, especially early years education? What would you hope for the support from the government like?
Okay. What I'm going to say is some of that has been done. Some of them has been done, but it was rather late. One of the big key fight that we had was that earliest industry is actually a frontliner industry. The reason is, unless you totally close down the economy, if not, then kindergarten or nursery or daycare has to be a frontliner industry. The reason is, when parents go to work, the child has to go somewhere, right? So that's no two ways about it. So that's why during the first MCO, where everybody was at home, it's perfectly fine. But during the CMCO, RMCO, whatever O's they have, that was a problem because parents are need to go into work and they cannot send their child. And
Yeah.
that's going to be it. So that was one of the toughest fight that we have. That's the first thing. The second thing that we hope the government will actually acknowledge is that early years educators are professionals. So we are not a pay by we are not a pay by use type of industry. So basically, it's a commitment to a contract. So if the school is running for 1 year and if the school is providing services online or not, then there should be a payment. There should be a payment so that the teachers can survive. But there is no formal, even with the Penang state government, there is no formal memo or no formal announcement or to urge parents that, look, please save this industry. Instead, everybody just keep quiet.
Right.
So during the pandemic, where parents are not paying money and everything, I like what I say. We need statesmen, not politicians. So statesmen make statements that is for the country. A politician makes statements for a political career, because it's a political suicide to call parents to pay during a pandemic. But for me, I think during the pandemic, I think everybody should be a statesman, that it's for the betterment of the country. It's not to safeguard the child, it's also to safeguard the industry and the future of the country. Because if everybody were to leave the teaching industry and there's not enough schools left, where would the children go?
That's true.
Right? So
That's true.
There's not going to be a pandemic forever, right? Children need to go back to school. Right now, today, I nearly missed 9:30 because the traffic was horrendous. Because everybody's back to school now. So
yes.
Right. So wow, it's crazy. So if you ask me, it's more about professionalism. It's more of a support to show that early years is actually a professional work. I mean, you won't go to a doctor and ask for a discount, right? Right? You won't do that, right? You won't go to the doctor and say, you're expensive, but the doctor Theo next door is only charging me 50%. What kind of doctor are you, man? You won't do that, right? Right?
But you wouldn't know
that,
in
right?
our Malaysian society.
Yeah, but technically, it's a professional thing, right? You have to pay that. That is, I mean, you can't go to a hospital and say, look, your operating theater is too expensive. I'm not going to do my operation here, because you guys are too expensive, right? No, right? You say that how much I'm going to pay, right? So I think there must be a respect for teachers, basically, and also a respect that, and also the acknowledgement that teachers make an important role. I mean, I could add on just a short one. There is plenty of research in this world, from the Heckman theory to United Nations to UNDP, you name it. It's a general consensus that every dollar that you invest in early years, there is a return of $15 minimum. And how does it do that? If everybody has a right moral value, a right character, good education, there will be less criminals on the street. In return, that will be better for the economy. So all this starts from babies. When you have less crime rate, then you can have better economy. Then everybody feels safe, right? It's so simple. But the problem with early years is that a 6-year-old doesn't vote. So they're always in the bottom of the line. So if a 6-year-old votes, trust me, the government will give more than Prihatin. That's how it works. That's how I think it works. So, I mean, there are some good politicians who really work hard for children. But I just hope that, that children will be part of everybody's work, because, like BK, if my children don't have money, they can't go to a gym, right? Very simple, right? If at a young age, they do not know what is health, they are not health conscious, they won't go to a gym, right? Adriana, the same thing. You know, if they don't appreciate nature at a young age, do you think they'll buy deodorant from you? No way, man. Right? So this is how we run the country. This is the base. And sad to say, during the pandemic, not much has been done for this base.
Agreed.
It's all, I mean, that's how I see it. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I see it. It's a player in the industry. Right. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Jerry. I really hope that your hopes will reach out, and yes, there will be changes in terms of support for the early years. And I really like what you said about how important early years education is, especially in terms of the growth of the society, as well as, you know, the respect for teachers, young early years teachers. I think that's a very wonderful key point that you've brought up today. And thank you. And I think I'll move on to BK. BK, so were there any support in terms of what the government aid that was given, or for your business? Did you utilize any of it, or how did you go along with that?
Yeah, I'd like to start with, I fully agree with what Jerry said. You know, everything he said about the government's help and the lack thereof. Yeah, so I mean, the only one that we were aware of is the 500 ringgit one. And we didn't take it because we weren't struggling that much, and there was only a finite amount of money to go out. So we left it to people who were really struggling and let them have it. But regardless, this 500 ringgit, you know, it's not going to do much. You know, a business needs more than just free money to operate. We need a healthy business environment that's conducive for businesses to grow. That's what we need. We don't need free money. We don't need politicians talking this and that. You know, they can leave us alone, let us do our thing, and we'll be fine. You know, it's truly when politicians start stepping in and dipping their toes into our industries, that's how they screw it up. Yeah.
Right. And what would be your hopes in terms of, I mean, in your industry with the health and gym and all these areas, right? What would be your hopes? And you know, maybe would you hope for any governmental support or aid or anything of that such during this time?
I think that there's no easy fix to the situation we're in. But I do know that a full lockdown is not the way to go. You know, a full closure is just going to hurt everyone. It's not, you're not being smart about it. And I think much like Jerry's kindergarten education centers, I think fitness and gym should be treated in a similar level, as in, you know, your health is very important. Just like education, health is important. Just they didn't close down hospitals because they realized that health is important. Gym is just the precursor, the preventative hospital, I guess. You know, you go in there, if your body's healthy, you're less likely to get sick, and then there's no need to go to the hospital afterwards. So I think it should be treated with the same level of care and respect as hospitals.
All right, thank you, BK. And Ariana, how about your business? Were any of the government aid in support? Did you use any of the aid that was given?
Actually, to our knowledge, that there wasn't any aids provided for our industry, but that's okay because like we still managed to come out of this COVID pretty well. And I would say that my boss, he has been very generous to us, especially during the COVID. He didn't cut any of our salaries at all, despite like us not receiving any aids or subsidiaries. And on top of that, he actually added in a lunch allowance for us. So we will either go out for lunch together as a team, of course, like still with the SOPs, or either he would like call in McDonald's for us. So he has been treating us really well. So
that's great. Yeah, that's wonderful.
So besides like the business pouring in and all our employees are being really properly taken care of, I feel that our stomachs have also grown as well. So maybe we might have to go to PWR.
Right. So BK is happy that he's like, come, join us. Right, wonderful, Ariana. It's really lovely to know that your owners of this business is very supportive, and I think during pandemic is a time when a lot of people realize, yeah, who are their friends and who are the foes, right? Who's there and who's not there, who's there to be around, and so I think for businesses as well, there's a lot of learning that might have happened during this time as well, right? And I think I'd like to move on to the next question. BK, so could you share with us, if you have any advice for young people or small SMEs who would like to set up a business during this time? Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, I'll say be very creative. This is a time of change, and there's a new set of problems that needs a new set of solutions. So you could be the new way of doing things. Everything's moving digital. You could be the fourth. You can be the front. The how do you say? You could be the first to come up with a brand new industry. Be the leading person in your industry, and if you do it right, I think you'll be very successful. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm sure that there are challenges as well in terms of competition, like Mr. Jerry was saying, right? So how do you think you navigated through that?
I think it's just being creative and not being stuck to the old ways or being stuck to one set of rules. Like we can see that a lot of other gyms are struggling because they are unwilling or they don't know how to move into the future, and that will come at their own expense. And it's good for us because when they close, the customers come to us. So yeah.
Okay, thanks, VK. And Ariana, so how about your business? What are your advice for the SMEs or even younger people who would like to embark in a journey of entrepreneurship during this time?
Okay, so because my company is run by really driven individuals who really know themselves and they are self-made people, what they can actually advise, they always tell me this all the time, is to know your goals really well, strategize where do you want to see yourself in 5 or 10 years or your business also. And then the second thing is that you need to be aware that these goals will not be achieved overnight or magically. You actually have to work for it, put in all your effort, your passion, your strength into it. Because if that's really what you want, you have to go and chase it yourself. And then the third is definitely to stay updated with the industry. Don't fall behind. Don't be lazy. You have to do your research among your competitors as well, and be resourceful. You have to gain contacts and also make friends with your competitors. Don't look at them as enemies or in an envious way. But maybe there's always something that you can take from them, like knowledge or inspiration on how to do things. So yeah, that would be definitely the advice that we can give to those who are starting up new businesses or carrying on.
Right. Thank you, Ariana. I like the way you said about looking at your competition as friends, or make connections with them, and in a way you get to learn as well with each other, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you, Ariana. And Mr. Jerry, finally to you, what is your advice for the young people?
Now is the best time to go into the market, actually, because for me, the pandemic has actually broken down all barriers. So, in previous time, when you want to go in some industry, there are a lot of big players there. There are a lot of, now because of the pandemic, a lot of, things are being neutral now. So it's a good time for you to go into the industry and to make a name for yourself. Because a lot of people are, and because of this pandemic, marketing has been cheaper now. Branding has been so much cheaper. Facebook, Instagram, everybody is there now, basically. Previously, to start a business, you need to spend quite a lot of money to get into the market, and a lot of, effort. But now, you can actually be very creative, like what they say on your posts, and it really goes. It will spread like wildfire as long as you get it right. So it's not going to be easy as entrepreneurs, trust me, regardless of situation, COVID or none. And entrepreneurship has never been easy. It has always been challenging. Post-COVID, pre-COVID, during COVID, it's part of the system. And like what Adriana and Theo said, because it's a process. It's a long process. But it has been a good time. It's time to come into the market actually. If you have a good idea, why not? Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jerry. And maybe some final words as to for Ariana. Maybe you could share with us how can how can consumers provide support for your business?
Okay, so actually, how you can provide support for our business is definitely by following our social media platforms. Like we are available on Facebook, on Instagram, so you can just like follow those platforms for more updates from us. And then definitely the second thing is to help us accomplish our vision by reconnecting individuals with nature. So what you can actually do is consider like maybe starting small, have like a small little plant buddy to accompany you during this MCO. So you can like purchase some plants or even like contact us for special plant arrangements if like you're in Penang. So you can buy through Shopee, Lazada, or you can contact us. And we will really be happy to accommodate any of your ideas or like to even bring your vision like landscaping to life. So feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ariana. I think I'd like to have a plant buddy now. So I will be in contact with you. And BK, maybe you could share with us how can consumers provide support for your business?
All right, let me plug the gym a little bit now. Yeah, I mean, at this time, your health is ever more important. So I think it's the right time to kickstart your fitness journey. So we do offer 1 week free trial to all new members. You come in, we'll help you out, and kickstart your journey. Yeah.
Great, thanks, BK. I especially during this pandemic, I am becoming a couch potato myself. So it's
Hop
good
on in,
to,
we'll help you out.
yes, it's good to have that you're opening up your doors for people to come in and stay healthy and fit during this time. Thank you, BK. And Mr. Jerry, how about you? How can consumers provide support for your business? How can parents provide support for your business?
Yeah, by supporting all teachers, I think across the board. Yeah, please support your early years educators. Respect them, work with them. It's not easy to be with 10 to 15 kids 9 hours a day, and it's fun. I'm not saying that it's not fun, but with the help of parents to support, I think it will be more beneficial for the children because if everybody is happy, the children will become very happy. So this is the new norm. So like I can give you a very simple example, like wearing masks. Would you be surprised if I tell you a 2-year-old and a 2.5-year-old can wear masks and they can do it for the whole day? It is possible. If you support the school, if you support the children, if we all work together, if parents, children, teachers work together, right? We can actually lower down the cases. We can actually save a lot of lives. I mean, if a 2.5-year-old can wear a mask, right? I think it speaks for itself, right? It's doable. It's definitely doable, but it needs teamwork. We need to work together. Not only for my school, for every school.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of apprehension from parents, especially during this pandemic, as to, if I send my kids to school and then they're going to get this and that, there's a lot of apprehension on that. So I think it's wonderful that you said that, we can actually get children to follow certain SOPs and they can do it as well. So it's I think parents also need to realize that it's possible. Right, it's possible for that, and I have a child as well. So yes, I agree with you. Handling for a day can be even very tiring. So I can imagine if there's like 15 kids around, so it must be very, very challenging.
I mean, teachers become a teacher because they love children.
Correct.
But, a lot of teachers don't become, I mean, a lot of teachers stop being a teacher not because of the children, it's because of there's no support from the parents,
Right.
and they need it. Yeah, so that I mean, when you become a teacher, you are not looking at multi-million-dollar salaries. Trust me, it's all because of the love of children. And when you leave the industry, it's also not because of you don't love the children anymore. It's because the circumstances made you have no choice. So we hope that, you know, by having good support, a good ecosystem, then we have more teachers, and eventually it will benefit the children. That is for sure.
All right, thank you all three of you for your sharing today. It's been really wonderful. I mean, with the different industries, health, education, as well as even love of plant, right? It's just nice to hear from all of you on your sharing. And I think I'd like to now go on to the question and answer from Q&A from the audiences. So we've got Jackie Quay from Facebook, and he's asking, why do you want to build a startup? What motivates you? BK, maybe you could answer that.
Do you mind repeating the question, sir? Or why do you want to build a startup?
Yes, and what motivates you?
Yeah, so if you really see something that you can possibly change in society, I think you should do a startup, because you set the vision, you are the director, and you can really execute everything that you want to. You can execute everything personally, and really make the change that you want to see in the world. I think that's the main reason.
Okay, and I think this question by Sok Hunt from Facebook, Mr. BK, what makes your gym special, and what is different with other gyms? So I think briefly you did mention at the beginning, right? So maybe you could just recap that a bit.
Yeah, so we are a strength and conditioning gym, and we specialize in one thing and one thing only. We don't pretend to do boxing too, or spin classes, or all these little gimmicks. You know, we do one thing and we do it well, and our mission is to empower you through fitness and to educate you in the benefits of fitness and how to do it properly. So we do that, and we do that well, and that's it.
Okay, thank you, BK. And there's a question from Anita Melo from Facebook as well. Are there any thoughts to expand your business? And if yes, how? Given the pandemic and tons of SOPs. Maybe Mr. Jerry, could you answer this question? Because there was no, it wasn't directed to anyone, but maybe you could share.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, for myself, we are expanding from doing MCO to virtual. So we have actually built our app. We are going to launch our app. We're going to launch quite a lot of things. For me, the pandemic and SOPs are actually the same for everyone. So there's no way around it. So yeah, I mean, BK will have to go through the same SOPs. Adriana, me, you, everybody's the same. So I think we should not look at the SOPs, but and the issues that SOP brings. But I guess it also presents an opportunity for us to solve the SOPs, right? So basically, instead of blaming the government for doing so much SOPs, because the SOP is not for you and me, it's for everyone. I think we have, as an entrepreneur, we have to be creative to, use this to our advantage, because it's a very simple thing. Like my school, the SOP might be a pain in the ass for me, because of all these things. But if you look at it in a positive way, if I could actually do all these SOPs, parents will choose my school, because they know that the children will be in a safe environment. So if I could actually prove to parents that, look, I've done all this and I've done more than the SOP is required, that means that is a good marketing tool for me. Say like, look, government asked me to do 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm doing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm doing extra security, So parents say, wow, this will be something. This will be some school that I want to go to. You see, so sometimes we don't take it as negative. We should take it as a positive thing, whereby if you're creative enough to solve the problem or do it better, that will give you a leverage against your competitors, right? And these SOPs are things that I mean, not only that this SOP helps you to give a leverage, but this SOP also protect your business. I mean, imagine BK. I mean, I won't say BK. I say myself. Imagine we start the kindergarten without an SOP, and touch wood, someone got COVID-19. We shut up for 1 month, right? And I have to pay rental, I have to pay salary, I have to, and all the PR nightmare, will come in. So SOP has its benefits, and I think as an entrepreneur, we must use it as a marketing tool, where we can actually show our potential customers that, look, we are going way beyond what we are to do, and that's why you need to be with us. That's why you need to be part of our organization. That's how I look at it. So positively.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Jerry. I like the way you said that. Use that as a strategy instead, rather than looking at it as a difficult thing to do or conduct. Right. So wonderful, very, very nice. Okay. We have a question from Serene Tan, Facebook. Any past experiences did you draw on that helped you create these creative strategies? Maybe Ariana, could you answer this question?
Okay, so actually, if I'm not mistaken, right, my boss had an experience once, like as a college student, if I'm not mistaken, he actually conducted like a workshop for terrariums and stuff. So from there, he actually felt that many individuals were interested in these things like plants, terrariums, and so on, because they're like quite aesthetic actually, but nobody really knows how to do it. So he saw like a hole in the industry, especially in Penang here. And from there, he actually devised like a strategy to not only have like a walk-in nursery like most of the competitors, but we actually offer special services like terrarium workshops, like individually or also through online. So I would say from his experience there, that's how we can get to where we are today.
Right. Thank you, Ariana. And there's one more question from Mohana Shankari, YouTube. If you were in a position of power and could make a change in terms of helping small businesses during the pandemic, what would your initiative be? So maybe anyone would like to answer this question? It wasn't directed to anyone, but maybe anyone. Would you like to answer? If you were in a position of power and could make a change in helping small businesses during the pandemic, what would your initiative be?
I think it would be wise for the government to provide training to people, because there is a big sector of society that they lack the resources and the knowledge to adapt to the new changing environment, and it's not fair to leave them behind. That will cause a lot of trouble, a lot of problems. So I think it's wise to provide them the training to move into the new age.
Okay, thank you, BK. And Ariana, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I totally agree with like BK. I think there's a real great need for training individuals in like the industry, like in every type of business as well. Like how it was mentioned just now that not everybody is so tech savvy, and because of that, they might not be able to diversify their business or launch into like online platforms. So if I was in a position of power, I would definitely try to provide training for everybody so that they would at least be on level ground and they will be able to like sustain their business throughout this pandemic as well.
All right, thank you, BK and Ariana. We have another question from Jackie Koi. What is your greatest fear and how do you manage fear? Mr. Jerry?
My biggest fear is not be able to pay my staff, I guess.
I think that's every business owner's fear, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, I think this is very industry-centric question. This is, I mean, PK's industry, my industry, we are totally different. But I can speak for my industry. Our biggest fear for this industry is that we are not doing it right for our children. That is our biggest fear. Come back to the question of Mohana. When you're in a position of power, what you do in terms of changing, actually, right? For me, if we have done it right from day one, there is no need for SOPs because everybody knows what to do. you do not have to come up with a rule saying that if you drive 110 kilometers an hour and you will get a fine, because then you should know by yourself that, look, I'm not feeling well, I should not drive, right? And isn't it an irony that we are actually, the people in power are actually putting a cap on speed limits, for example, but at the same time, they're asking children to become engineers so that they can produce faster and safer cars. Isn't that the irony of it? So if the car is safer and faster, is safer and you're supposed to create a car which is safer and faster, then why is the speed limit still there? There's no correlation, right? So the greatest fear for me in my industry is that we did not do it right for our children. That is the most important, because if you do it right for the children, there will be no need for strict SOPs, because everybody will know that it's my responsibility to wear mask because it's safe for me. There's no need for a 10,000 ringgit fine. I mean, honestly speaking, because if everybody knows that because you see, the society fails when you need to use power to actually move people. A society will only be successful is when the people will do it because they know it's good for the country. I mean, that's how I look at it. So that's my industry. That's how I look at it. So we must not get it wrong, because once you get it wrong, everything is fine. We're using the law to stop people from doing this. We're using the law to stop people, because a lot of things are logical sense, and a lot of things are actually for your own benefit. So if I drive too fast, I'm going to bang someone will die. Isn't that logic enough? Right? It's that simple. But in Malaysia, I won't say in Malaysia. In most of the countries, like, oh, nobody's watching, I'm going to drive fast because nobody's watching. And then you're so proud when you don't get a ticket. Wow, I did it in 2.5 hours, but I didn't get a ticket. It was so proud. So this is something very wrong with the education system, I guess. And yeah, so that will be my greatest fear.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. And there's one more question. I think this question might have been directed to Ariana from Jackie Quay Facebook. How do you manage the distribution of your product?
So actually, how we distribute like plants through like online platforms and so on, we actually choose the best plant already, and then we will take a picture for the customer, see that they are all like really satisfied with the quality of their product, because instead of being like profit driven, we are actually very customer orientated. So we pride ourselves on having like good customer service and always providing the best for our customers. So we choose the best quality products to be given to them, and we make sure that we pack everything really well, just like how you would normally pack things to be sent over the mail, like in parcels. So we use a lot of like biodegradable products and also recyclable products, and we pack the plants nicely to make sure that they don't damage or no soil comes out like during the transit from us to them. And then we seal everything properly, and then we send it out.
Okay, thanks, Ariana, for sharing on that. I think that's about the questions that we have on both YouTube and Facebook. There's one comment from Rupini Fong for Mr. Jerry. Yes, she says, totally agreed with Mr. Jerry. Please support all the early childhood educators, work together for the betterment of our future leaders. So wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, speakers, for your wonderful sharing. And I think all our audiences would have gathered a lot of really useful information for them if they intend to start up any businesses during this time. And for that, again, thank you for your time. And I would like to pass on to Gideon. Thank you all speakers. Thank you for this sharing.
Hi there. Okay, so thank you to all the speakers for your sharing. Like Ms. Asnina said, it was really very insightful. I'd like to also congratulate and thank all of the speakers once again for taking time off their busy schedule to be here and to share some of their insights with us. We've taught us that resilience and adapting is the key to running a proper business, especially in times like this. We hope that your business continues to succeed and grow very well. last but not least, the audience, I hope you guys have gained a lot of knowledge from this short webinar and learned something that you can adapt to your own new startup or your future businesses. Okay, for the audience here, please do click on the link provided in the chat box or scan the QR code to obtain your e-certificate from SEGI. All right, thank you all. Have a blessed day.